What's going on, guys? Fun with Knives back again, and as you can see, we are outside. It's been a long time since we've been away from the tabletop, and I thought it was a beautiful day. It is the evening of July 3rd, and I apologize right now for the traffic. I hope we won't hear some fireworks as well, but we're gonna get outside today and we're gonna test this knife. This is the WE Knife 614 from Zelrick, and he encouraged me, he even asked me to test out this knife and let him know how it holds up. So the 614 comes with, see if I can get this here, M390 blade steel, which I have not had any experience with. So I'm leaving the edge as is. This is straight from the factory, and we're gonna see how it holds up with some daily EDC kind of tasks, and then we're gonna hard use it just a little bit. I don't want to abuse it necessarily, so I'm gonna bring you up over here. As you can see, I already got some cardboard laid out. It's always a good idea for you to be very proficient cutting cardboard. It seems like that's just about all I do. Now with this very wet, nasty piece of paper, we're gonna see how initially sharp this is. As you can see, super sharp. We'll come back to the paper at the end after this 614. I've seen quite a bit of use and it's got nasty. So one thing that I do all the time with my EDC knives is food prep. I don't know about you guys, but I avoid oil on my EDC knives because I'm often cutting an apple at work for lunch all the time. So I can do this carefully. This is kind of hard in front of the camera. Let's just do it on top of the box. Hopefully you guys can see. As you know, I'm not particularly adept in front of the camera. You guys have seen my face, you know a little bit about it, but this is my well-deserved reward after we do some testings. But as you can see, the 614 is fairly robust. It seems to be slicing through this apple pretty well, so I get it all over the cardboard. Yeah, it's not having a problem. I mean, it's not as slicey, if you will, as say a really thin Spyderco blade, but it seems to be working pretty well. We got this apple into quarters and it's just fine. So I'm gonna move that out of the way. Let's get onto the box. Honestly, guys, there's three things that I do with my EDC knives. Three things. I open up packages, I cut down boxes, we'll include that in one. I do food prep, and I open envelopes at my very boring desk job. I'm just kidding, I do love my job, but it's a little bit boring for a knife aficionado. So let's go ahead and cut this box down into ridiculously small strips just to show you how well this is working. So one thing I noticed, as you guys probably saw in my little unboxing of the 614, this knife is very large, and this is my first time using it. So I immediately love the length of this handle. I mean, it's just so hand-feeling. I don't have anything to worry about as far as losing space, anything like that. As you can see, this is just flying through this cardboard. This is pretty thick stuff. This is actually from some sort of furniture, dining room chairs or something. So this is kind of a load-bearing box. That kind of got caught up there. Coming in at the right angle, and this will just kind of rip this up. Hopefully I'm in frame. Let me check. Yeah, barely in frame. You guys get to hang out with FWK a little while too. Not too bad. But when Zelrick asked me if testing the 614 is something I wanted to do, I was all for it. First of all, I haven't had a whole lot of experience with WE knives, but I knew this one came in M390 steel, so I've been really curious about the steel and why everyone says it's such a good performer. And I can see, it doesn't seem like we're getting any wear resistance, any dulling on this edge so far with this minimal use. So I'm just gonna keep on cutting here. As you guys know, the 4th is tomorrow. And let me know what you guys are doing in the comments below, because I don't have plans. I think this is the first time I don't have 4th of July plans. So hopefully you guys are spending it with family, doing something fun, something patriotic maybe. But man, this is working pretty well. Pretty impressed with this so far. So as you can see, I don't think cardboard is going to be an issue. I'm pretty sure we can get through all of those boxes, no problem. I'm going to bring you over here. Got this little stack of firewood that I don't really think we have any plans for. Maybe we'll whittle a little bit, since it's a common use of knives, maybe not EDC knives in particular. I can show you how well this bites in. Not bad. This is some dead stuff too. This is pretty dry. I don't think this is, I don't know how old this is. It's probably 3 or 4 months it's been sitting out here. Not really feeling any hot spots. The clip's kind of minimal, so that doesn't seem to be a hot spot. You can see the fuller here is attracting some debris, but it's not too bad. It's not collecting, at least. The jimping is functional. I mean, it's keeping my thumb in place. Almost knocked you guys over there with my knee. But I mean, it's not ultra tactful. It doesn't have a ton of traction, but it seems to be working. Honestly, I hope this video is decent because I don't really have one shot at this. I wanted to test the factory edge, and I know I'm bouncing in and out of frame all the time, guys. I apologize. Bear with me, but we will get a little point on this stick just because. So yeah, whittling, not too bad. Let's check the action after a little bit of use. Lockup super secure. Edge just feels great. So, you know what? Let's do a little bit of tip strength testing. And I'm not talking about getting this into wood, wiggling it around until I break it on purpose. I'm just talking, let's stab into this wood a little bit. So let's see how this big old titanium frame lock folder holds up. So I'm gonna go right here, just a couple of times. I actually sunk in pretty well. Lift up that whole log almost. Feel that. No blade play at all. And again, I don't necessarily think this is abuse because this is a pretty tough knife, you can tell. But honestly, you're never gonna have to use your EDC knife like this per se. And that's why I don't plan on batoning with this. I don't really think that's a good indicator of anything that a folding knife should have to do. All right, let's check the action. Still flawless, honestly. No blade play whatsoever. I mean, there's all sorts of things I could do to this knife just to make you guys cringe, but I'm not gonna do that. But what I am gonna do, I'm gonna hack at this dead piece of wood a little bit. Again, this is a large knife. I'm gonna kind of 3-finger it, use this point here kind of as a hook to keep me locked in, but you see, this thing's got a little bit of weight behind it, even though I mentioned the handle itself is very skeletonized, lending it to be a little bit more lightweight than you'd think it would be. I mean, a blade of this size. Should we just cross-section it a little bit, maybe? I mean, that's biting in pretty well for a little folding knife. By little, I mean in comparison to some of your larger camp blades or hiking knives that you typically use for these type of tasks. And again, Zelrick asked me to kind of hard use this. Not necessarily abuse it. You don't want to hurt it, especially on purpose with a knife this nice, but I want to get dirty. I want to get it used, test that edge, test that steel, see if this frame lock kind of holds up. We might as well go through this entire thing just on camera here. I know this is so entertaining for you guys. Now this is just a testament to see if all the hype behind Wee knives is what's the word I'm looking for here, backed up by the actual product. And just from what I've seen so far, I think it is. I mean, I have plenty of folding knives that would have already had lots of blade play by now, would have deformed their softer steel lock bars, that sort of thing, or, you know, and something that's going to cost you mid 200s, high 200s, you should, especially if it's built like this, you should trust it to do some harder tasks if it's built for that. I think it is. I know some of you guys are probably just dying that I'm using a knife like this to do this, but somebody's got to do it. Somebody's got to test it out. All right, let's test the action again. Still works great. You can use your thumb there. As you can do, I'm just kind of use this again. Let's go with the grain. See what kind of penetration we can get. Yeah, that sinks in there pretty good. Check this out. Lift that entire log up. I mean, it's only 10-15 pounds, but still. Okay, now let's work in reverse order. If we bring back here, see my little mess I've made in the backyard. Whoops. Let's go back to the cardboard and see if we're going to be functioning as well. Seems to be working just fine to me. That blade is still razor sharp. We got a little hiccup here. I think that was because of that tape. Should we just slice in little sections. So I am a firm believer that this is still sharp, but let's do the paper test one more time. Oops. Oh guys, we gotta keep that in there. And it is still, maybe I can get that edge here. That's still pretty damn sharp. It's not quite as sharp. And of course, there's someone weeding their lawn right as I'm trying to do a video. Man, I really cannot get this in. I'm sorry guys. Believe me, there it is. Get a little bite here and there. I think I got a little nick in it. No, I think it got just a tiny bit toothier, but after all that use, the 614 held up really well. In fact, I think what's most impressive is that this has the capability not to deform that lock bar too much. I was expecting some blade play, just a tiny bit. But I mean, this thing's working really well. I might sit out here and actually whittle just a little bit more. But as you can see, 614 held up pretty good. And I'm trying to use all of the edge here. I'm not gonna make a fire, or I'm sorry, a feather stick or anything, because I'm no bushcrafter, but just a little bit of wood processing task just to show you guys. Maybe if I put it in frame, that'd be much better, huh? Show you guys that I think this thing would be good for a variety of tasks. Now, is it monster slicer? No, but I think that increased blade thickness is what's giving you the strength, of course. And fairly beefy lock bar. You got steel on steel contact too, so if this wouldn't have had the this little lock bar insert here, right there, that star screw's holding in, maybe this would have been a different story if that was steel on titanium. But of course, they're smart and did the right thing, giving you steel on steel contact. So we're about 12 minutes in, guys. Let me know what you think about the first testing video. Of course, I will try to get better at these, but I feel like wood, cardboard, an apple, some paper, that's kind of what my EDC tasks entail. Of course, I can make this more extensive and do all sorts of different materials, and you guys can definitely let me know in the comment section if you'd like to see that. But as for now, I'm pretty impressed with the 614. It held up well to some, we'll just say some negligent activities that maybe a folding knife shouldn't have done. But I'm gonna get this cleaned up, maybe give it a nice strop. That M390, it doesn't seem to lose its edge. I know that paper was a little wet, so we're gonna attribute it to that and my lack of paper cutting skills. As you guys know, I don't do that on the channel. I think it's a little bit ridiculous, but it does kind of show the initial sharpness. So thanks for watching, guys, as always, and remember, have fun with your knives.